Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is expected in court today for failing to produce records in a lawsuit against her in the village. It is over documents she has not handed over as part of a Freedom of Information Act request. A judge previously said Henyard could be fined $1,000 a day if she doesn't give the documents to the plaintiff's lawyer. If Henyard doesn't show up to court today, she could be thrown in jail.
And I tell you, FOIA, a lot of times people don't know, so they just go off of what they heard. Go FOIA the information and learn for yourself, educate yourself.
All right, everyone, time to school yourselves, okay? We're about to learn something new today, or at least I'll attempt to guide you all through the freshest intel about Tiffany Henyard's latest happenings.
Again, the first African-American female mayor here in the village of Dolton, making his...
Tiffany Henyard is back at it again, doing what she does best, whatever she pleases. I mean it. Emotions are high, chaos is in full swing, and she is steering clear of any sort of guidelines. It does not matter who sets the rules. Tiffany simply refuses to follow them. Honestly, I doubt she could follow directions even if her life depended on it. In case you missed the point, yes, Tiffany Henyard is once again facing a lawsuit for failing to hand over documents related to a FOIA request. Now, I get it, lawsuits are practically routine these days. But for those unfamiliar, FOIA stands for the Freedom of Information Act, a federal law in the U.S. that allows citizens to request access to records held by government agencies. The goal is simple: promote transparency and hold officials accountable. But transparency, that is the last thing Tiffany wants to be associated with. She has been dodging these FOIA requests like it is her full-time job. And let us be clear, this is not Tiffany's first time being sued over hiding information. Back in 2022, WGN took her to court over the very same issue.
WGN is suing the village of Dolton for refusing to follow open records laws and release spending records. Last year, WGN Investigates sent Dolton an open records request seeking copies of the agency's credit card statements, as well as records relating to Mayor Henyard's compensation and the cost of her taxpayer-funded vehicle. But Dolton has declined to release the documents. After WGN Investigates appealed, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office ordered Dolton to release the records by mid-March. But that deadline came and went.
So like I said, she just truly does not care. But this time, the folks coming after her are Edgar County watchdogs. Her flat-out refusal to respond to their emails or acknowledge any part of their FOIA request has landed her in even more serious trouble. So let me break this court situation down just a bit. Tiffany Henyard versus Edgar County watchdogs, so you can fully grasp how we got to the point where she was nearly slapped with an arrest warrant. This info comes from the Illinois Leaks website, the official Edgar County Watchdogs page. Definitely check them out at edgarcountywatchdogs.com. Now, here's what the court docket says. On March 5, 2025, the court found that Mayor Henyard had ignored emails dated September 4th, October 30th, and November 19th of 2020. Sent by the village's legal counsel asking for records tied to the FOIA request. The court then ordered her to locate and submit all documents tied to a January 5, 2024 request by March 19, 2025. If no records were found, she was required to outline her search process, including what systems were reviewed, how they were searched, and which staff were involved in plain terms. The court told her to find those documents or prove she made a real effort to look for them. Unsurprisingly, she did neither. No records, no proof, nothing. The docket then states that because of her ongoing refusal to follow FOIA and the court's order, the plaintiff filed a verified petition asking the judge to hold her in indirect civil contempt. That petition was granted on May 7, 2025, and Mayor Henyard was ordered to appear in court in person on May 23, 2025. At 9 a.m., but of course she did not show up, she was officially found in contempt of court for repeatedly and deliberately ignoring the judge's instructions. So the judge gave her one final chance: turn over the records by May 27, 2025, or face a $1,000 a day fine. That was the day she finally showed up because, let's be honest, she probably realized she could not keep using taxpayer money to play legal games. The next court date was May 30, 2025, via Zoom. Had she skipped that one too, a warrant would have been issued for her arrest. Now she has until Friday the 6th, just around the corner, to show up again in person and bring those documents with her. So what do you think, guys? Is she going to ask for another extension? Because this is beyond ridiculous. How many second chances do people like her get, especially when they seem to know all the right people or have leverage? That is the thing about Tiffany Henyard. She seems protected, like she has dirt on someone powerful. In my opinion, she should have been out of office and behind bars a long time ago, especially with all the lies she's been caught in. On tape, no less. And this is someone who is supposed to be a trusted, elected official managing taxpayer, money and public resources. It is insane. But what do you think? Will she actually show up this time with the records in hand? Or will it be classic Tiffany Henyard, defiant, dismissive, and totally unbothered? Now, speaking of records, this brings us to the next part of the story. There are rumors floating around that Tiffany and her partner Kamal may have been burning documents, yes, literally destroying evidence behind the Rock Island car wash. Now, for the record, Kamal never owned that car wash. He just worked there. But apparently, something shady went down. There was a fire roar, rather. Some serious burning, and YouTuber Crook County caught it all on video. You can check out his channel. He posted the footage along with a rap track. Honestly, the song was kind of refreshing, more uplifting than violent. Though, yeah, it has a few curse words. It is hip-hop after all, anyway. The footage shows someone stirring around in this blazing fire, like they're making sure everything burns just right. And trust me, this was no cookout. The flames were too high, and it was happening late at night, which looked very suspicious. And with Tiffany's court date approaching and documents still unaccounted for, it makes you wonder, what exactly were they burning? Because, let's be real, the timing is sketchy. Crook County even went back the next day to investigate, looking for signs of burned papers or anything that might explain what went up in flames. In the background of the video, you can spot both, a fire truck and a police cruiser, meaning someone definitely called emergency services. That does not happen with a normal legal burn. And when he checked the barrel where the fire happened, you could clearly see something had been destroyed inside. So what do you all think? Are we jumping to conclusions here? Or do you believe that was actual evidence going up in smoke? And if anyone out there has inside info, not hold back. Seriously, drop it in the comments. But all right, enough about the fire. We get it, there was a blaze, and there is heavy speculation that they were torching evidence. Let us shift gears and talk about the most recent Dolton board meeting and how things have shifted now that Jason House is Mayor. And let me just say, it is a breath of fresh air. The level of transparency, the open dialogue he encourages with residents is actually impressive. So let me show you what I mean. I am going to play a short clip, and then we will dive into a discussion about someone currently on the board, someone I think we can all agree should not still be sitting up there, board member. I have a couple of questions regarding village amenities. First, what is the current policy for code enforcement? Do we have certified officers? Jason, yes, we have officers. At the moment, they are not certified, but the village administrator met last week with someone who provided a proposal to bring them into compliance. Within 3 months, I expect certification will be complete. Board member, and how will we handle things like lawn maintenance? I have been working with the village administrator, and after nearly all spring and summer, my grass was finally cut this past Saturday. But my neighbor says, we are just renters, so we do not really worry about our lawn. Anyone who has seen my Facebook knows I take mine seriously. So how are we addressing that? Jason, we are starting with warnings. It will be a gradual system, progressive discipline, just like anything else. Board member, what happens when there is an emergency and no officers are available? Are there supervisors on site or on the street? Jason, that is really situational. We cannot take any emergency lightly, but it depends on how many officers we have on shift at that time. We have posted that we are hiring more officers because the need is definitely there. Now that is how Jason House is handling meetings: professional, responsive, and actually engaging with residents. So let us rewind for a moment and look at how Tiffany Henyard used to handle these exact types of public comments. Spoiler alert, she did not. Resident, good evening. Someone from Public Works came to my property. I live on Blackstone. They said there is a section between my yard and the property behind me that is overgrown vegetation damaging my fence. I was told I am responsible for cleaning it up, but 10 feet off my property would put me inside my neighbor's lot. And I thought that was city land, so I need clarity. And for the record, this is how Tiffany responded by not responding at all. No answers, no clarification, not even a follow-up. She ignored them. Honestly, she may as well have said, "I do not care about your overgrown grass. Next," because that was the energy. She shut down every opportunity for real dialogue and even kept trustees from chiming in. But this next woman, she was not having it. Let us roll the clip. Resident, we show up to these meetings to share information because we are not getting it from anyone up there. We are spending public money, but it is not going towards special events or visible improvements. We pay for workers, water, emergency services, so when is Thornton Township giving us our money back? That is our budget, the residents' budget. Do you even know how much of a cushion you have? You better figure it out because someone owes us answers. And those events on Greenwood, you were supposed to pay the village for using that space. Did you get a permit? Did you ask the trustees for a vote? No. So if you want to talk after this meeting, I will be right here. And, of course, Tiffany Henyard stayed silent. This woman had her number. She had that calm nonsense tone that says, "I am going to read you respectfully, but I will read you thoroughly and honestly." Maybe if Tiffany had more people like that in her life earlier on, she might not have become the walking scandal she is now. Then again, maybe she did and just refused to listen. You get the idea. The contrast between Jason House's respectful leadership and Tiffany's dismissive arrogance could not be clearer. Just look at these two business owners trying to speak at a board meeting, the one monthly opportunity they had because Tiffany had canceled so many in the past. Business owner, good evening. We are partners at the Dolton Sitco. We have been waiting on our license for almost 6 months. We applied on April 12th and still have no update. Can someone please tell us what is going on? Now I know someone might say, maybe the mic just did not pick up Tiffany's response. But no, trust me, in those meetings, the only mic that always worked perfectly was Tiffany Henyard's residence. Their mics were conveniently muted or malfunctioning. Tiffany's mic, crystal clear until she decided not to say anything. She just ignored them, and eventually, the business owners walked out. No resolution, no accountability, just more dysfunction. Now let us shift into the final part of this story. We are going back to the most recent Dolton board meeting, where a public commenter named Alicia Nicolias, she has a YouTube channel, stepped up to the mic. Alicia has been a constant presence during the chaos of the Tiffany Henyard era, documenting meetings and demanding transparency. If you want to support someone who has been boots on the ground during this madness, check out her channel. Here is what she had to say this time, directed at one specific board member. Alicia, this is my first meeting under the new administration, so congratulations. I want to bring up something important, not to stir up unnecessary drama, but because it needs to be said. This is directed to Andrew Holmes. Your behavior has been outrageous. It feels like you completely abandoned the people and aligned yourself with Tiffany's agenda. The way you voted confirmed that. A lot of people are calling for your resignation. I know you were asked already, and you said no. But truthfully, the community does not want you here. This is not personnel, it is about accountability. You have not addressed any of the serious allegations against you, and the silence is loud. You just waltz back in like everything is normal. No explanation, no apology, no acknowledgement of your absence. After the way you voted, whatever loyalty you had to Tiffany, that needs to be addressed. You cannot just return like nothing ever went down. But that is exactly what it looks like you are doing. I have never had a personal conversation with you, and honestly, I do not care to. That is unfortunate, but it is the truth. You are the only person I genuinely have zero interest in engaging with, and I am not alone. Plenty of residents feel the same way. Look, I am not yelling. I am not being disrespectful. I am speaking what many people are thinking. At some point, whether it is tonight or later, you need to speak up and respond to the serious accusations made against you. Do not just sneak your way back in here. Like you, owe no one an explanation. That is all I have to say. Thank you. Honestly, I think she expressed that extremely well. She is someone who truly knows how to articulate without letting her emotions hijack the moment. She kept it composed and sharp. Now, After all that was said, here is how Andrew Holmes responded. In due time, but I must remain silent. MMO. Okay, MAO, I am going to remain silent. Look at him shaking his little head. Of course you are going to stay silent, have you no shame? Seriously, come on. For those who are not familiar, Andrew Holmes is a trustee. He was one during Tiffany Henyard's time, and he still holds that position because his term is not up yet. He has to be voted out. What Alicia Nicole was urging is that he should step down on his own. Given the controversy involving him and one of Tiffany's former assistants, WG, investigates found that a village employee accused a trustee of sexual misconduct while on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas. We got hold of complaints alleging that Mayor Tiffany Henyard and an unnamed trustee were involved in sexual harassment, retaliation, and discrimination. The Department of Human Rights confirmed they are looking into it. Now, Fanea Dukes was once Ulin for Team Tiffany. She did not care what people thought of the mayor. In fact, she credited Tiffany for giving her a shot in politics, taking her under her wing, showing her the ropes. She said, "I never thought I would be where I am today. Thank you for seeing something in me, for pushing me, for helping me when I truly needed it. I will always be grateful." But all of that changed during the now notorious taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas. Fenya and Andrew Holmes both went. Fenya passed out and believes she was drugged while drinking. She claims Andrew Holmes took advantage of her while she was unconscious. We have been covering ongoing controversies plaguing Mayor Henyard's administration in that small southern suburb. The mayor, her security team, and allies went to Vegas last May for a business development conference. But now, a complaint filed with the Illinois Department of Human Rights says one of Henyard's aides passed out and was assaulted by a trustee. She alleges she was later fired after telling the mayor what happened. In another complaint, a Dolton police officer assigned to the mayor's security team says he was demoted after coming forward with claims that the trustee bragged to him about the incident on FaceTime. Even worse, Fenya says when she tried to report it to Tiffany, she was placed on leave-on, then fired. When asked if she saw Tiffany as a mentor, Fenya said, "Absolutely. She used to call me her mini-me, which I hate now. Please never call me that again. But back then, she really tried to lift me up. She gave me chances, said I could be mayor. One day told me I might take her seat. But when she told Tiffany what happened, it felt like Tiffany already knew. She looked at her like, 'Yeah, I know. But why are you bringing this up now?' That expression said everything like. Tiffany was shocked she was brave enough to speak up. That kind of look that says, 'You do know you are about to ruin everything for me, right?' Despite how serious the claims were, Andrew Holmes never addressed them. Tiffany simply dismissed Fenya as a disgruntled former employee. But Fenya insists, 'I was making more money than I ever had in my life, $138,000 a year. I finally had income left after bills. Why would I ever jeopardize that?' Honestly, Andrew Holmes should just resign already. Nobody wanted him there to begin with. He constantly sided with Tiffany, voted exactly how she wanted, just a rubber stamp, a yes-man. Want to amend this motion? Go ahead, yeah, I move to amend this motion. Cold air is cold. Yep, he really said that. Now he starts grandstanding, trying to sway the other trustees to vote Tiffany's way. Let us take a listen. If you ever been home sleeping, in the cold like these, seniors with no roofs or windows, you know how bad that is. Think about your grandma. Think about your little kids freezing inside those houses with no protection. I want to amend this so we can move forward. And another thing, we cannot keep letting judges or outsiders determine Dolton's future. There was an election. She ran. She won. We need to stop pointing fingers. If you are going to point fingers, point at yourself. We need to focus on progress, not live like it is slavery days when families had no roofs or windows. I had to pause here. Look at Trustee Ed Steve's face. He is thinking, what in the world is this man saying? It was completely off topic, but that is Andrew Holmes in a nutshell. When he did speak, it was always to preach in circles and push Tiffany's agenda. He would race bait, ramble on about sleeping outside and freedom, invoke Malcolm X and Dr. King, but we are in Dolton. Most of the population is already black. This is not about race. It is about accountability. It is about doing the right thing. The trustees are simply trying to stop Tiffany's reckless spending. Well, folks, that is all for today. I hope this breakdown gave you clarity on the latest drama with Tiffany Henyard. We will see what happens Friday, whether she shows up to court or not. Until then, I am out. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new, do not forget to hit that subscribe button.